Hello and welcome to Nature Source Care. My name is Dr. Funda Goldman. I'm a naturopathic physician. And in today's talk, I was going to discuss the medicinal benefits of clove spice, or Syzygium or aromaticus is the Latin name. And this is part of my kitchen pharmacy series. So let's go ahead. Just a note beforehand, the information presented here is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. For any symptoms that persist or worsen, please consult with a qualified medical professional. It's always best to determine the root cause of any disease and to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. And while botanical medicine nutritional remedies can be very effective, they may not be appropriate for everyone or as a single therapy. Also, keep in mind the two most common side effects of any plant based medicine are digestive upset and skin itching. So, there you go. So if you're looking for more content like this, I would check out my videos in my botanical medicine, nutrition, and or kitchen pharmacy playlists. I'm good about organizing my videos into playlists so that the topics can be explored pretty easily. And the information presented in this talk is from my book, Drink to Your Health, Medicinal Teas, Juices, and Milks from Around the World, which you can get a copy of on Amazon whenever you want. And the reason why I wrote this book is because it integrates nutrition information from different paradigms of medicine. So Ayurveda, traditional Indian medicine, naturopathic medicine or traditional natural medicine, and then the Western modern paradigm. Okay. And then if you're interested in learning natural medicine, not just, about nutrition or botanical medicine, almost every playlist I have, it could basically be seen as like a different course in natural medicine. So I have playlists like Ayurveda, traditional Indian medicine, Marma therapy, which is Ayurvedic acupressure, yoga meditation, homeopathy, Bach flower remedies, which is a part of homeopathy, nutrition, which we often consider the first to be the first medicine, botanical medicine, hydrotherapy or the therapeutic use of water, body care, and then cleansing. And the cleansing list is not just about physical cleansing, but mental, emotional, and spiritual cleansing. So, for those of you who are up for it, there's a lot to learn. Okay, so now clove, or Syzygium aromaticus, I think that's how you pronounce it. The parts that you use are the dried flower buds, excuse me, and then the method used is either the infusion method or the milk decoction method. Okay, so if you want to learn more about different methods for making medicinal teas, I have a whole video on that, different methods for making medicinal tea. So these are just two different ways. Okay. And then from an Ayurvedic point of view, Ayurveda, if you're not familiar with, there's an energetic paradigm of medicine, and there are essentially three main imbalances. So too much wind or vata, too much pitta or fire, and then too much kapha or earth. Okay. So now vata is cold and dry, pitta is hot, and then kapha is cold and wet. Okay. So in order to rebalance these imbalances, you basically want to introduce opposite qualities. So if somebody's a very vata or very windy, we would say that they are cold and dry. So you want to introduce heat and wetness, or warm, moist heat. Yeah. So, also in that paradigm, every herb, plant, has a different kind of energetic profile. And clove is pungent, heating, pungent. So it is quite spicy. We could, translate this information. It's quite spicy. Okay. So because it's quite spicy, you can see here where I've listed pitta or fire. It will, if somebody has a lot of pitta, this may not be a great herb for them. Okay. So pitta, usually when people have pitta, they have like a lot of inflammation of different kinds. Okay. Because it's quite a warm herb, though, it generally is pretty good for vata, as long as somebody's not super vata, super dry, because all the heat will dry them out more. But generally speaking, clove is pretty good for vata or windy people. It's also pretty good for kapha or earthy people because both of those types, vata and kapha, or wind and earth, are both cold. So this clove will warm them up. Okay. Now, if we look at the different systems of the body and what clove can help with or address, in the nervous system, clove can be can be used to help pain, and also as it can be an antispasmodic. So most people, if they use like clove oil or something like that, some people will use clove oil like if they have some toothache or something like that because of this analgesic effect, of helping with pain. Okay. Now the thing though with clove is quite spicy, so if you have like irritated skin and you put clove oil on there or powdered clove, it might inflame the area more. Okay, so you have to be careful. with type of pain. If pain is accompanied with inflammation, then it might not be a good idea. Okay. As far as the respiratory system, clove, because it's warm, it can help with colds and cough, asthma, congestion, and laryngitis, especially congestive laryngitis. Because this heat will you can kind of think of it as the heat will start to melt the congestion and get it moving along. As far as the cardiovascular system, clove can be quite stimulating. It can actually be potentially helpful, depending on the cause, in certain cases of low blood pressure. Also, in terms of the gastrointestinal system, all that heat coming from the clove can support digestive issues such as indigestion. Sometimes nausea, vomiting. These two, though, sometimes nausea and vomiting are there because there's a lot of heat, in which case clove may not be a good idea. But clove as a herb is also a bit astringent, and so it might, if there's just like a tiny bit, like a little pinch of clove, like in a cup of tea or something like that, like chai, for example. A lot of traditional chai mixes include clove. So get a little bit of clove can go a long way. That might be helpful as long as it's not too much and not too frequent. Okay, gas is also again is going to be helped because gas is a indication that there's too much wind or vata in the body. And then diarrhea can potentially be helped because, again, there's a little bit of an astringent effect with clove. And it can also stimulate appetite because, again, usually when somebody doesn't have an appetite, it's because they're too vata or too kapha, so too much wind or too much earth. And basically, either way, it's because there's too much coldness in the GI. Okay, as far as the immune system is concerned, clove is quite strong in terms of being antimicrobial. So it can be used in those kinds of certain kinds of infectious cases. As far as men are concerned, a clove can be helpful because it can help with impotence, low libido, and premature ejaculation. So these conditions, again, from an Ayurvedic perspective, are usually due to too much vata. Like especially if men are, fairly young, you know, uh, even up to like 40s, mid 40s, that sort of thing. A lot of times, the reason why things might be starting to slow down in this area for men is not for physical reasons, but more mental, emotional reasons, like they're too stressed. And so when there's a lot of stress, that can really kick up vata, especially. And then, kind of the vata will kind of cool down and dry out the sexual system for men. Okay, so the clove will come in and keep things up. For women, clove can be helpful with certain kinds of vaginal discharge. Because it's antimicrobial. But again, it depends on if, for example, the vaginal tissue or the uterine tissue has too much heat in it, in which case clove may not be the best. It can be like one tool in your sort of antimicrobial box, but because there's heat to it, you wouldn't necessarily want to give this to somebody who's infected and inflamed simultaneously, okay, or large amounts of inflammation, okay. General aspects of clove is that actually clove is an herb with high in manganese, for those of you who are looking for more of that. It also helps to balance the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra. Okay, so this can help to, again, warm things up because the fifth chakra can be cool, can be light, can be very vata. Like, because a lot of people, well, all of us are breathing, so the fifth chakra is going to be activated through that. But then for those of us who talk a lot, like me right now, um, all of that activity in the voice box can bring a lot of vata. And so just, again, little bits of clove here and there can help to, uh, warm up all that wind or vata. And then clove also has detoxifying properties partly because it's so warm. So again, it can, just like it can kind of melt, so to speak, congestion in the lungs or sinuses and that sort of thing. It can kind of do that with different toxins in the body. But again, depends on what other uh, types of components you're including in the cleanse. Okay. The thing though is that you have to be cautious with clove because, as I've been saying over and over again, it's quite a hot herb. So if somebody has a lot of inflammation or has high pitta, clove may not be a good idea. Or the other thing is that they may not want to use clove like in the summer season when it's not outside. So, myself, for example, I don't use clove in the summer. I might use tiny bits in the cooler months to help warm up, but I don't use clove. I tend to use cooling herbs in the summer. All right, so there you go. There's clove. And as I mentioned, the information presented in this talk is from my book, Drink to Your Health: Medicinal Teas, Juices, and Milks from Around the World. And you can always get a copy on Amazon if you want. I do have another YouTube channel on Vedic astrology, which is ancient Indian astrology. The name of that channel is Light Vedic Astrology. And then I do have an online photography gallery gift shop because a lot of the photos in my talks are actually my own. So if you want, you can go to my link here at Fine Art America if you want to check that out for gifts for yourself or somebody else. All right. So as always, I hope you found this talk helpful, useful, and interesting. And until the next one, you take good care. Namaste.